I'm sitting in that park that I like to come to. That's down the street from my asshole ex-boyfriend's place where we used to live together. This is just, I used to run here, and this is where I like to come to park and eat food and think, especially when I'm just going through like rough times. So I'm going to try to talk about what's going on right now, the situation that I'm in, and try to piece together for you as best I can in chronological order what the fuck happened and what I think is going on in this other person's fucking head. And what the situation is, because it's just like so wild. Let's roll back the clock to August 3rd of last year, of 2023, when I moved in with my then girlfriend, who I had only been seeing since May 24th. That's when we met. And we just like immediately started dating, and I missed so many just things that should have set off my alarm bells, red flags, if you will. And it's just all culminated into this moment here where I'm again trying to figure out how to avoid being homeless. Last year, she saved my life. She offered, I didn't ask her. I was just telling her what was going on because like my life was blowing up. My ex-boyfriend, after I revealed my trans identity to him, told me that if he had to endure the remainder of the 2 months of our lease together, that he was going to snap on me because he doesn't have a problem with trans people, but he doesn't want it around him. So I had to get the fuck out. You know, I had run out of money. I quit my job in 2021 and liquidated an asset that I had from when my brother died back in 2017. I got $47,000 as a lump sum, and I was able to make that last for a couple of years. And then I ran out of money, and I couldn't pay the rent anymore. And I had been trying to find solutions to this financial situation without having to go back to work in the capacity that I had been, because when I discovered my autism when I was 28, I'm 32 now, so this was like right at the end of 2020. I discovered that I'm autistic, and I've been accommodating that and adjusting my life, and like I burnt the fuck out. I couldn't work anymore, and I still can't. Like, the thought of having to go back to a job where all of my days are just controlled by somebody else, I don't have much free time, the pay is not enough to allow me to support myself on my own because I don't have a college degree. Even if I had a college degree, a lot of the fucking starting salaries are bullshit. Plus, I would be in so much fucking debt. I'm very smart. I'm very capable. I'm very talented. I have a lot of skills. I have the ability to learn anything. If somebody's willing to teach me, I can self-manage my time. I was going to say self-manage myself, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Self-manage means managing yourself. Like, I'm very capable of a lot of things, but I need accommodations. I need to be able to do whatever I want when I want, because that's how my brain works. That's how my body works. I can't just force it to do things that it's not interested in, that it doesn't want to do, or that is too much for my system. And participating in capitalism, wherein my time is not my own, the money that's being paid to me is not even enough to cover my bills to the point where I would be able to live independently and not depend on another person and find myself in a situation where I'm living with somebody that we end up fucking hating each other. Like, I just want to be on my own. I can't I can't do that. My mental health suffers to the point where my ideations just get so strong. And like, I've had ideations my whole life. That's not a new thing. I've made it to 32 without acting fully on those ideations. There have been a couple of attempts. Couple of plans made and then just, didn't go through with. So I was trying to find a work from home thing that I would enjoy doing. So I joined a program called Merit America, where you get a Google Data Analytics professional certificate. And then, it was supposed to be, I was going to have a good job where I could work from home and just analyze data and make enough money to where my other ex, the ex that I spoke about, that my current ex saved me from that situation, so that I can make enough money to be able to remove myself from that lease, or he could remove himself from that lease, and whoever's left behind would take over the apartment, and be able to just have it to themselves, and we wouldn't have to deal with each other anymore, because we knew that we hated each other, and we were just like, we both need each other in order to fucking be able to pay the bills, because at that time he wasn't making enough money. And then he got a promotion to manager, to a property manager position, started making $70,000 a year, could afford the place on his own, and then was like, get the fuck out, I hate trans people, like I'm gonna snap on you. Like, he once said that he would never let me become homeless, and I know that things change and context is everything, but like, I was pulling my weight. I was pulling more than my fucking weight. And as soon as he had the ticket to not have to deal with me anymore, he was perfectly fine with putting me on the streets. So I met my now ex-girlfriend in May of 2023. We started immediately dating, and, I was sharing my life with her, and I was telling her, I'm like, yeah, he's kicking me out, and I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm going to be homeless. I don't know what's happening. And so she offered to let me move in with her. And I was like, extremely fucking hesitant about this. I was so hesitant about this because I've been in so many situations my adult life where it's just gone sour, and like, people have held things over me when I've needed help, and like, I never understand. I never get it. I never fucking understand why people offer things and then hold them over me. I would never do that to somebody. If I was in the position to be able to take care of somebody, I would never make them feel guilty about needing help. I've needed help so much my fucking life. And like, it's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of effort. It's not for lack of like anything. I don't want to depend on people. I want to be independent. It is so fucking like triggering to me to have to depend on anybody else. That power dynamic just fucks me up. My adoptive parents just ruined me from the time I was able to comprehend anything. And I'm unpacking my trauma, and I'm dealing with it and rewiring my brain, and I'm finding, my place in life, and I'm gonna figure it out. But my life has been very difficult. It has not been easy. And these last fucking 5 years have just been so hard. So fucking hard. So I got the Google Data Analytics professional certificate. This program also included like resume help, job search help, mock interviews, all sorts of resources to help get the jobs that the Google Data Analytics professional certificate should be getting us. We literally had to track our applications on this fucking website called like Hunter. I had to put in like 40 applications a week or something. I applied to about 380 jobs over the course of like, I don't know, 6 months or something. And I didn't even get a single solitary interview. I didn't even get a response from anybody even offering an interview at all, even saying, hey, or being like, hey, thank you for your interest in this position, but we're not interested. Like, it just, I don't know if it got caught in the algorithms or something, and just like, because everybody uses AI to sort through shit, but I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't get those jobs. I couldn't get anything. And so I was put in a position where I was running out of money and I had to act quick. And she offered me a place to stay. I was immediately like, I appreciate you offering that, but like, I need you to understand the magnitude of what you're offering me. And like, we had such in-depth conversations about what it would look like, and about the fact that like, she doesn't expect anything from me. She just wants me to be safe and doesn't want me to be homeless. And we finally came to like a place where I managed her budget. I made a really awesome spreadsheet to help manage her budget, to help organize it in a way so she can pay down the fucking $20,000 of debt that she has, to be able to just like afford things, and so that she didn't have to think about, because she's so fucking bad with her money. She's so fucking bad with her money. Oh my God, she's so bad with her money. She's so irresponsible. And she ended up taking on all of my bills. We combined the car insurance on hers, which I'm sure she's split it now, so I'm driving uninsured. She took on Odin's vet bill. She took on my phone bill. She took on the internet, because we both use the internet. So we canceled her account and just combined it to mine, because my phone is connected to my internet. So we had to have my internet account active in order to keep my phone active. So the phone, the internet, you know, and she would pay for just like the necessities that I couldn't get with food stamps. Like, I got food stamps, and so we were able to like have our separate groceries and stuff. And then like stuff, because I didn't have an income. I got on TaskRabbit, and I was putting together furniture for people, doing just like personal assistant tasks. And like, it was very few and far between that I was getting TaskRabbit stuff. And so I wasn't able to contribute financially to anything. And I kept having to use what little money I did get for my other necessities, because I didn't want her to pay for shit. I rarely asked her for anything. I never saw her money as my money. It was always, let me get all of her shit covered and all of the stuff that she's covering for me. And then whatever extra she needs, like, let me tailor it to her. But like, I'm not asking for anything. All of my socks have holes in them. All of them have holes in them. And they're worn out. And just like, I need new socks. And I didn't even ask her for that. Okay? I took care of the budget. I took care of the dishes, because the dishes were like the hardest thing for her. Okay. The dishes would always pile up in the sink, and she would get like immense PDA and executive dysfunction about it, and she could never do them. And I was like, don't you fucking worry. I will take care of the budget. I will take care of the dishes. She agreed to do the bathroom, because that's the thing that I have PDA about. But like, everything else was on me. I took care of it. I was her personal assistant for whatever she needed. Okay. So I moved in with her. She didn't think beforehand to check with her landlord, because this was her first apartment that she'd ever lived in by herself. The first one that we lived in together. fucking 35 and she's done so little as an adult. Luckily I have experience in property management, so I knew how to like handle this situation, but like it was a private landlord. I had moved in with her because I thought that she had taken care of things already. I thought that she would have common sense to contact her landlord and not just have an unauthorized occupant. But once I moved in, then we contacted the landlord and tried to get me on the lease. But because he hates, he doesn't allow animals on that property at all. And I have Odin, who's an ESA, who I'm rehoming now. I'm driving up to where this person lives this Sunday to drop him off at his new home because I cannot provide for him. I cannot take care of him. And so I'm giving up my child. It's what's best for both of us, hard as it may be. So we tried to get on the lease, and the landlord was discriminatory. Even though I have an ESA letter for him, he's not allowed to discriminate. He's not allowed to deny because of that. And literally he denied because of that. And because he's a private landlord, like there was no way we could fucking fight it. And so we decided that we were just going to say, screw him. And we were going to sneak me in. And so we had this elaborate like routine wherein I would park far away, and then we would dodge all these cameras and these other neighbors that are like spies and like get in. And like, there was a whole bunch of fucking tomfoolery that we did in order to keep me there. And I was sleeping on her living room floor on my mattress topper, which is just like a couple inches thick. I put all my stuff in storage. And there was one night even when she lived on the second floor, and I had to climb through her window. She lowered down an emergency ladder for me. And, you know, I sent Odin up in his little bag on a fucking hook. An anal sex hook is what that thing was supposed to be for. But she lowered down the hook and I put Odin on it, and she pulled him up into the window, and then I climbed up the fucking ladder into the window, and we were just like making it work. And then he sold the property. It was fucking wild. He sold the property and it got taken over by this company who is the management company for our current apartment that she's kicking me out of. We found this new apartment, moved into it in November. And, you know, I felt so safe. I felt like things were going to be okay. I now had the space and the time and the safety to be able to figure out what the hell I'm going to do so that I can move out and she can have the place to herself. Because the plan has always been for me to leave as soon as humanly possible, as soon as I am financially capable of doing so, because I want to be independent. I don't want to live with anybody. I need to live by myself. I need to not have to answer to anybody. I need to not have anybody else in my fucking space. I just want to live on my own. That's always been the case. And then the more we interacted, I ended up breaking up with her the day before Valentine's Day, which was actually on our Valentine's Day because we were polyamorous. I'm still polyamorous. She's just not a part of my relationships anymore. And like, I don't, for my polyamorous situations, I don't like to celebrate Valentine's Day on actual Valentine's Day with any of my partners, because that feels too hierarchical and like, oh, you get the actual Valentine's Day. And so whoever I'm with, we choose a day that we want to be our Valentine's Day. And, you know, so our Valentine's Day was February 13th. And I ended up breaking up with her because there were just several things that happened. Like we're basically fucking strangers, you know? And we were getting to know each other as we were living together. And the more that we interacted, the more it became apparent that like we are not on the same page with our understanding of each other. And no matter how many times we had these like big conversations about how we need to interact with each other because of the damage that kept getting caused by these misunderstandings, it was just so hard. Like, she just interprets everything that I do as like negative and malicious, and she's a professional fucking victim. Everything is always, you hurt me, and that didn't feel good, and just like so fucking dramatic for no goddamn reason. And then she would weaponize stuff against me. Like, we had this one fight where I had posted a video to TikTok about our neighbor, and there was a follow-up video that I had made that had footage of like the exterior of parts of the apartment, which I thought I had done a good enough job to only show certain things so that like people wouldn't be able to, you know, figure out where it was and like dox us or whatever. But she was concerned about it, and instead of like directly coming to me and telling me, hey, can you please take this down, she's like, hey, so look at this, and like this is this, and this is this, and blah blah blah. And like I wasn't understanding what she was saying to me, and like I thought she was trying to just like verify with me that like this was safe or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is why I did this is why I did that. But really what she wanted was for me to just take the video down. And so I was like, do you want me to delete the video? Because this back and forth just like was a lot. And I got a little bit irritated with her. And I was like, okay, are you saying, do you want me to take the video down? And she was like, yes. And I was like, okay. And that little moment of frustration is when she went, that didn't feel good. And she fucking turned and dramatically walked away and went into the bathroom to cry. And then during that, while she was crying, I was looking at another video which had similar things that she was concerned about. And so I yelled through the bathroom door to her. I was sitting in the dining room and I yelled through the bathroom door to her because I could hear her crying in there. I knew she was crying, but like she clearly went in there to cry in private. So why am I going to fucking go after you when you want space? And so I was just like, hey, there's another video that has a similar thing. Do you want me to delete it? And she goes, I'm crying. And I'm like, I know you're crying. I'm asking you if you want me to delete this thing that has the same safety concern as this other video. And she goes, can you go for a drive? Can you go for a drive? Which is just, this is an example of how she misunderstands the protocols and weaponizes them against me. Okay? Because that sentence, can you go for a drive? In a previous argument, I had told her that one of the things that helps me to be able to process and calm down, especially when I'm in a triggered state, it's helpful for me to go for a drive so that I can release my frustrations and scream and yell and do whatever I need to do in my car away from the situation. But that is for me to decide, because I know when I'm in a triggered state. I know when I'm being irrational. I know. But to have somebody else assume my mental state and tell me what to do is completely the opposite of helpful, because of the PDA that I have and the trauma that I have, which we have discussed extensively. So I was not in an elevated, triggered, irrational state, but she was perceiving me as being that. She literally was like, I don't know what to do to get through to you, as if I'm in some sort of like blocked off fucking state. She tells me to go for a drive, which triggers me, because don't fucking tell me to go for a drive. That communicates to me that you think that I'm being irrational right now, and I'm not. You just don't like the delivery of the things that I fucking say, which fucking is another thing we've talked about. I try so hard with my communication to make sure that I am being as patient as possible, as kind as possible. I am not cruel. I do not resort to calling people names unless you like push me past a point where she has pushed me now, where now I've just thrown all that out the window and I'm like, fuck you, cunt. Go fuck yourself, you stupid fucking bitch. You unreasonable fucking bitch. That's where we're at right now. Because she's pushed me past I don't respect her. I don't respect her anymore. Something that I've had to work on my entire life is the delivery of the things that I say and the choice of words that I use, and having to fucking ground myself and calm myself down and make sure that I'm being palatable for the people who I'm trying to communicate with so that they understand me and don't fucking freak out and can fucking listen to me. But I'm autistic, and part of the way that my autism manifests in my communication is just being I'm very intense, and I'm very loud, and I'm very animated, and I'm very direct. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit, but I'm also not gonna just be a rude asshole. I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. This is what we've agreed upon. This is what you've done. This is what I have done. And this is what needs to happen in order for things to be resolved. She can't handle the way that I fucking communicate. And no matter how many fucking times we have had to have this fucking conversation wherein it's like, I need you to give me the benefit of the doubt, to give me a pass if you think that I am being some sort of fucking asshole or like doing something that is hurting you, hurting your feelings, whatever's happening. I need you to give me the benefit of the doubt, and instead of just internalizing whatever it is that you have perceived, whatever meaning you have assigned to my communication, okay, you need to be like, hey, this is what is feeling like, this is what I feel like you're saying, and that obviously doesn't feel very good, and I wouldn't expect that from you because you care about me, and we've had these conversations, so can you clarify for me, please, if this is what you meant, and if this is not what you meant, what did you mean? That, like, and the way that she would agree to that, and then never fucking do that, and would just run with these fucking stories in her head about what I've done. And then cut off communication, start making huge decisions, start spending a bunch of fucking money outside of what is allowed in the fucking budget, not telling me what's going on, making it seem like she's about to kick me out. She's taken the budget away from me. Why would she start spending a bunch of fucking money that's outside of what is supposed to be spent from the budget if she's not taking the budget away from me? Like, acting absolutely fucking insane. And making me feel like I'm about to be out on the streets, putting me in fight or flight, back in survival mode, having to figure out once again how the fuck I'm going to prevent myself from ending up on the streets. I don't want to be homeless. Nobody should be homeless. We have the fucking resources to house everybody. Why the fuck? Okay, anyways. So our communication is fucked. After a really big fight that we had in May, I decided to even further regress our relationship. So I broke up with her in February, and we were just friends. And then the communication continued to be fucked. In May, we had an enormous fight, which I have a video, I believe the last video that I uploaded was about that fight. And I decided to take us from being friends to just being roommates. And I was like, I will interact with you in the capacity as roommates, okay? We can communicate about things that affect the both of us. I'll continue to manage your budget and do the household chores and things that we agreed upon. But I don't like you. My body doesn't fucking like you. My body hates you, actually. The way that you trigger my nervous system, I almost went through with an ideation because of that fucking fight, which is the main reason why I was like, I have to protect myself. And if we have some sort of miscommunication, like, I don't want to smooth it over. I'm just going to say, we're stopping this conversation because you're doing the thing again. And I don't want to go through that. I want to live. I want to be alive. I want to thrive. I want to be independent. I don't want to leave this planet. But a lot of the times I feel like that's the fucking solution because of what I've been through constantly. Because we live together, because we're in close proximity to one another, because I am an even-tempered person and can exist cordially with people that I do not like, if I have to be around somebody that I don't like, and it's like for my survival, like I'm going to be cordial. It doesn't compute to a lot of people because I feel like a lot of people are just like, if I don't fucking like you, then I can't stand you. I can't tolerate your existence in my presence. And it's like, no, I can still tolerate you. And I will do whatever is necessary. And I will be respectful. As long as respect is being given to me, you will also receive the same respect in return. It takes a lot to push me to the point where I am at right now. So, being in close proximity, living together, she pays for everything, the weed and whatever. We smoke together. I'm the one who rolls the joints, loads the bowls. Like, we interact with each other and we end up having conversations like how we used to, where we would just talk about like really deep things and stuff that we're interested in and just have interesting conversations. That's part of our relationship that I really liked. We were able to do that. And she interpreted my cordialness as our relationship was maybe getting better, that I might consider being friends again, that maybe somewhere down the line we might get back together again. And we had a day where she was technically on the clock, but she was working from home and she didn't have any appointments like that day, so she was able to just like do stuff, and I had errands that I needed to run. And so she was asking me what my day looked like, and I was like, well, I don't have any formal plans, but like I need to do these things. And there was a couple of things that like overlapped, and so we're like, all right, we can do our errands together. And so we got up and started getting ready to do that. And then literally as I was about to walk out the door, I had Odin leashed up. I had my bag on. Like, I was ready to fucking go. I had the momentum. It's 1:00 and she looks at her phone and she's like, oh my God, I apparently have a client at 1:00 and I didn't know that I had this. I'm glad that I checked this, but she was going to be busy from then for an hour. And then what I heard her say was that after that, she also had something going on at 2. And then she also had another appointment at 3:30 for something. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, so from 1 to 3:30 now, you are booked. Our plans are out the window now. We're not running errands together anymore. And so I was like, okay, I'm already headed out the door. So I'm going to go get my prescriptions. Like, I'm going to go do my stuff. And as I, was on my way to get my prescriptions, one of my friends hit me up to hang out. And I was like, hell yeah, I would much rather hang out with you than wait on her. Because A, I don't particularly like her, but B, like, our shit had already gotten fucked up before it even started. Before it even fucking started, the plans got thrown the fuck off, okay? And so I texted her while she was in her session. I knew she wouldn't be able to see it then, but she would see it as soon as her session was over, and let her know what my new plans were. I was like, I'm going to go hang out with my friend for a few hours. I'm not going to be there all day. And she thought that we had like set in stone plans. She apparently didn't have anything between 2 and 3:30. So that's the miscommunication, is I thought she had something going on, but she didn't. And I was already in Portland hanging out with the person that I was hanging out with. And so I wasn't going to come back up here for a little while. And I was like, you know, we can regroup later, whatever. Then when I was like on my way back, you know, I was like, I'll be home at this time. I'm on my way back. And she's like, I'm going to somewhere in nature to ground myself, so I won't be back for a while. And so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we're not doing anything else today together. That's cool. Whatever. Fine. And then went home. And then she comes home later and she wants to come have a conversation about what happened. And so I'm telling her what happened, and she keeps interrupting me to tell me that I am only talking about my experience. And I'm like, I'm 2 minutes into speaking right now. And yes, I'm talking about my experience, because that's the only experience I can speak from, is my own fucking perspective. I'm telling you what happened and why I made the choices that I fucking made. And I said the words, I wasn't upset whenever I was doing this. And she's like, I'm upset. I know you're not upset. I'm upset. Like, she interrupted me to say that, which the interrupting thing is something that we just, because she constantly tells me not to interrupt her, but then she constantly interrupts me and just has these little fucking comments that she has to add to everything that I'm saying. And so she keeps interrupting me while I'm giving my side of shit, because the way that I operate is I'm going to tell you from my perspective what happened. I'm going to say, I assume that probably makes you feel like this. And then it's your turn to tell me your perspective and how you actually feel and how you interpreted things. And then we can blend those two perspectives and find where the misunderstanding was and find the common ground and make things better. But we couldn't even get to that point because she kept fucking interrupting me. And then she started talking. I don't even remember what she was saying, but it was something to the extent where I started talking over her, and I was like, I don't want to have this anymore. We need to stop talking. We can't talk about this right now. I need to stop this. She called that raising my voice. She said I raised my voice at her, which to me, if somebody's saying, you know, if I were to accuse somebody of raising their voice at me, it would not be like just talking louder than me because they need to stop a conversation. Raising your voice would be like an aggressive, like, what the fuck is your fucking problem? Something like that, you know? And that's not what I did. Again, I remain respectful. She doesn't interpret it as respectful because she's a dumb bitch. Because she's a therapist, I think, she thinks that she fucking knows everything and how everybody should fucking interact. And she thinks that she's the authority on that. And like, she's so controlling with the way that I express whatever I need to express. She's so fucking controlling. And it drives me insane. Because I express the way I express, and I make an enormous effort to, in that intense expression, make sure that I am not causing harm. And again, we've had extensive conversations about the fact that I am misunderstood all the time because of the way that I just naturally fucking express when I am communicating. I can't change this. I'm 32. I have tried to change this so many different ways. This is how my autism manifests. And I am who I am for a reason. I communicate the way I communicate for a reason. So after I stopped that conversation, she wants to start texting me and just like continuing this stuff. And I'm telling her, I can't handle this. I don't want to continue this conversation. And so in text messages, because she wouldn't stop, I said, shut up. Oh my God. Shut up. I told her to shut up. It's the first time I've ever told her to shut up. And the note that she left me when she was telling me that it was time to part ways, she used that. She used me telling her to shut up as evidence that all my care for her has gone out the window, and all she asked from me was kindness. Bitch. 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 That's what I gave you. Always. Always. I was so patient, so kind, so careful with this fragile little fucking flower of a bitch who lives in her own delusional fucking land, in her mind. So harmful to trans people. Oh my fucking God, the way she co-opts the trans experience and just fucking misgenders me, misgenders my partner, misgenders her partner, conflates testosterone and patriarchy and misogyny all together. She's got a lot of work to do. She's got white savior. Oh my God. Her white savior mentality is absolutely out of control. And her victim mentality. She is both a white savior and a victim in everything that she does. So I told her to shut up. And then she tells me that she's going to block me. Doesn't give me a chance to respond. Just blocks me. Won't communicate with me on anything. Starts spending a bunch of money. And so I had to send her a message on Signal and be like, you are spending more than the budget. Stop spending. And she was like, I know. And I'm like, if you know, then why are you doing it? Unbeknownst to me, it's because she was planning to kick me out and withdraw financial support from me because of this little fucking disagreement wherein I don't get to have any sort of like explanation of what was going on. It's just I was a malicious fucking twat and intentionally fucking did shit to hurt her and intentionally blew off her plans. Oh, so okay, before she blocked me, when we were like she's like, so are you done communicating with me then tonight? And I was like, is there something else that you wanted to talk about? And she was like, yes, I wanted to talk about our connection because it seems like things are changing. Our desire to hang out with each other is obviously different. And so I wanted to talk about that more. And I responded to her and said, nothing has really changed for me, but I'm happy. I'm still happy to have the conversation. If you would like to do so, like if you need more clarification, I'm still happy to have this. And she flipped the fuck out. So this is the reason she blocked me. She flipped the fuck out because I didn't withhold that little piece of information of nothing has changed for me because she wanted to have the entire conversation in person, which directly goes against what our agreement on how to interact with each other has been. Because we cannot handle the way that each other expresses in person, we have agreed to have text message conversations away from each other so that we can't see or hear each other because that just is triggering to both of us, so that we can have the words there, refer back to them. There's no misinterpreting because the words are there and I can ask you to clarify and then we can see the clarification and we can refer back to everything. No, she's throwing that out the window and she wants to have all these conversations in person. And so she was upset that I gave her that tidbit of information that nothing has changed for me because she didn't want to read that. She would have rather heard that in person. She was saying that I cross her boundary. I crossed her boundary because she didn't want to talk about that over text. She only wanted to have that conversation in person. And I'm like, you told me what the subject of what you wanted to talk about was. I let you know a brief, nothing has changed for me about that, but was still willing to have the conversation. Despite the fact that we are not supposed to have hard conversations in person per our communication agreement. And then she decided to block me. And then it all went downhill. The only conclusion that I can draw from this, since everything was fine beforehand, the only conclusion that I can come to is that I rejected her and she can't fucking handle it. And so everything has gone out the fucking window. She blocked me on everything. So I had to fucking communicate with her via the fucking calendar, which she blocked me and then wrote a message on the calendar to ask me for something. And I'm like, you cannot block me and then communicate with me in other ways. If you do not want to communicate with me, you do not get to pick and choose when we fucking communicate. Okay? You can't just be like, I need this information, so I'm going to communicate with you. No, if I don't have the ability to communicate with you because you're blocking me, you cannot communicate with me like that. And she came home, she was asking for the gate code to the storage unit, which I had sent her back in November when we moved in. And I did a search in my messages to be able to find it so she would be able to fucking find it too. And so I wrote on the calendar that she can look it up in the fucking messages. And she came home. I don't remember what the circumstances were, but she came home and I was like in the kitchen doing stuff. And she like asked me a question and I ignored her. And she asked me again and I looked at her and ignored her. And she again... Oh, she was asking when the U-Haul was going to be there because I was going to take a box spring to my partner and then bring the dresser that she wanted from the storage unit inside. And I had plans for the U-Haul that my partner was paying for. I didn't need her at all because I was moving everything. She wanted to know when the U-Haul was coming. And so I fucking ignored her because you have me blocked and you don't want to let me communicate with you. You don't get to just fucking communicate with me. And so the third time she asked me, I was like, it's coming after 6. You have me blocked. You cannot communicate with me otherwise. And then she decided to unblock me for a brief second to text me and tell me that she actually doesn't want the dresser right now, so not to bring it inside. And I had already brought the drawers inside so that I didn't have to do that like the same day. I did it like the day before. I went and got the drawers and took them inside and put them in her room. And then she's telling me, she's like, actually, I don't want it right now. But we were supposed to move out of the fucking storage unit that fucking weekend, and we weren't gonna have a U-Haul because the storage unit was going up $50 from $90 to $140. Okay, and we're like, no, we're not doing that, and so we're gonna get rid of the big stuff and downsize to a different storage unit at another facility for half the fucking price of the original fucking storage unit. And so we had plans to go through the storage unit together on Wednesday, and then on Saturday, actually originally it was supposed to be on Sunday, we were gonna move into the new fucking storage unit. And she's like, I actually don't want it right now, so don't even bother. And I was like, no. She reblocked me so she didn't see the messages. But I was like, no, you can't just pick and choose. You can't. This is when I have the U-Haul. This is when I have the fucking U-Haul. I can't just change the day that I have the U-Haul, okay? Plans are already in motion. I'm like, we still need to move on Sunday. And she's like, I'm not available Sunday. I work. And I'm like, what the fuck? When were you going to tell me this? This is fucking important. And so then we agreed to move on Saturday. And I went still the same day. And because she, didn't want the fucking dresser anymore, I was like, fine, you're not going to have it at all. I'm not going to bring it in here. And I decided to put it out in the corner and give it away. But I needed the drawers. And since we were in such a fucking fight, she had her door closed. And so when I left to go get the U-Haul truck, I yelled through her door, please put the dresser drawers out in the hallway. If you do not put them out in the hallway, I will have to come into your room to get them. I need to put the dresser together. It's not coming in here. So when I got back with the U-Haul, they were out in the fucking hallway. And I put the dresser on the curb and put it all together, and someone fucking took it. And then at some point, she wrote a message on one of the fridge magnets that we had to communicate with each other, that it was time for us to part ways because my care and consideration for her has gone out the window. And she just had all sorts of fucking condescending bullshit to say in that. And so I wrote him a note to her, that we're going to have to interact to get clearer on what these terms are of, okay, we have to part ways now because our lease is through October 31st. And so she comes home and is like, all right, I'm ready to have a conversation like adults. And she was not ready to have a conversation like adults. I have this conversation fucking recorded. She kept getting up and walking away anytime I fucking did any sort of communication that wasn't exactly in line with how she fucking wanted to be talked to. She was telling me that I have to be out by October 31st and that I need to remove her payment information from all of the things that she is paying for me for, which include my fucking phone, which is how I'm supposed to how am I supposed to communicate with potential employers, with other people to help me during this time that you want me to be figuring out a solution to get out, but you're withdrawing this financial support from that I can't do anything. She changed the passwords to everything. She canceled her card after this. In this conversation, I was asking her how she expects me to do this. And she just kept repeating, I have nothing left to give you. I have nothing left to give you. And I'm just like, you're not cooperating in this conversation. I'm trying to figure out what these fucking terms are and why you're making this decision. And all you can give me is I have nothing more to give you. And she just kept walking away and interrupting me and just being a fucking cunt. Oh my God. During this fucking conversation too, she was like, I can think of off the top of my head a way to solve every single one of your problems. I'm like, oh, okay. Go ahead then. That's a big claim. You can solve all of my problems right now. Go ahead. Off the dome. How do I fix everything? And she's like, I told you that I'm not, that I'm only talking about this right now, because she only wanted to talk about the terms of leaving. And I'm like, no, you just said, you cannot sit here and say that you have a solution to every single one of my problems and not share those with me. And she's like, okay, fine. I'm feeling generous. And all she could come up with all her stammering was to use the Wi-Fi and my online presence. Like I haven't been doing that. I have been posting on the internet for over a decade at this point, relentlessly, constantly, trying to monetize my existence so that I don't have to participate in capitalism the way that capitalism wants me to participate. And I can be independent, and it hasn't fucking panned out that way. Okay? I have been trying so hard. And then because I was like, what about gas money? How do you expect me to get anywhere if I have to have a job? And she was like, your partner has a bike they can give you. And I was like, I can't just take their bikes. The bike that they have offered to give me at one point is broken. It is a project bike, and I am not entitled to just taking my partner's bikes. They use their bikes. We both don't have the means to fix that third bike. And also, it's the middle of the fucking summer that you're wanting me to do all this, and you want me to ride a bike to wherever I need to go? So she was just being so fucking unreasonable. And then she went into her room and oh my God, she was like, I've defended your shitty behavior to my friends and family this whole time. I'm like, oh yeah, my shitty behavior? What fucking shitty behavior? And she's like, I'm not going into it right now. It's like, yeah, because you fucking can't. Because this whole time that we have been dealing with each other, you have constantly been telling me how no matter the arguments that we have gotten into, that I am the most kind and compassionate person you have ever met. She said those words to me. And then all of a sudden, whenever I reject her, now that goes out the fucking window, and suddenly all my behavior is just shitty, and she's just been defending my shitty behavior to her friends and family. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. And so I was like, whatever. And I walked away. I was walking into the kitchen, and she goes, yeah, because you only ever think of yourself. And that triggered the fuck out of me, because that's another instance where we have talked extensively on how I have put my own needs aside my entire life to accommodate everybody the fuck else and make sure everybody the fuck else is taken care of and comfortable before me. That's a fucking thing that we have established. And now it's, I'm selfish and I only think of myself ever. She literally said, it's either you're going to be homeless or we're going to be homeless. And so I'm like, okay, so it's you or me. That's great. And also, that sentence doesn't make any fucking sense because it's not going to be either we're going to be homeless or I'm going to be homeless because you make $5,000 a month. How on earth would you be made homeless by any of this? It only ever would be me getting the short end of the stick for this. Like, what the fuck? And so when she said that I only ever think of myself, I screamed at her and I was like, that is such fucking bullshit. And I went and I ripped the Christmas lights off of her fucking wall. And she just goes, wow, violence. The way that she reacts makes me want to punch her in her stupid fucking face. But I would never do that because I'm not violent. If she were to slap me across the face, I wouldn't touch her. I would laugh at her for slapping me across the face. This entire time we've known each other, I have not once exhibited any iota of violence towards her or anybody. But me ripping Christmas lights off the wall because she's making me homeless, putting me in this fucking crazy making situation, saying shit that is absolutely not true, triggered me to the point where I, in desperation to get her to fucking like see that she is doing wild shit and maybe get her to stop for a second and think, I ripped the lights off the wall. And then, while I was at Rad Pride with my partner, I was hanging out with them for the whole day. I came home on Saturday, June 29th, and she had moved out of the apartment while I was gone. She took all of her stuff and my favorite fork. And she fucking moved out. Her name is not off the lease. Both of us are still liable for the lease. I verified that. She hasn't paid the rent yet. Today's July 2nd. She moved out and she left her bed frame behind. And she tried to send a TaskRabbit in to get it yesterday. And luckily, I had put my walking stick that I have underneath the handle of the front door to prevent her from coming in because I didn't want her to come back. I didn't want her to fucking come back inside and fuck with anything and get stuff. And like, she's just allowed to do everything. And so I dismantled her bed frame and put it on a corner for free. But she tried to send a fucking TaskRabbit in. And when the TaskRabbit came to the door and was like, I'm looking for Erin, I was like, she doesn't live here. And then he went away. And then a couple of minutes later, they both returned. Her and him returned. She unlocked the door and tried to come in, but the stick prevented. And she's just like, Phoenix, I need to get my bed frame. And I was like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. What the fuck? Go fuck yourself. You don't get to fucking do the shit that you're doing to me and expect me to cooperate with you. No. She should be in Spokane right now because she has a vacation from the 2nd to, I don't even know when, somewhere into next week where she's going to Spokane, like with her parents and her sisters or her family or whatever. So I don't know if her plans got derailed or if they're actually in Spokane right now, but I've resorted to using a screwdriver to lock my bedroom door, to lock the bathroom door. And like, I put everything that I care about in my room so that if she does decide to come home while I'm not there and fuck with any of my stuff, she can't. She took all the spices, all the pots and pans. We had thrown away my pots and pans because she had pots and pans, and mine were scratched and they were nonstick, so they were toxic. So she took away my ability to cook stuff. She also took the laundry key and the mail key, so I had to go do laundry at my partner's. Like, this behavior is absolutely wild. And I'm figuring out how to get the fuck out. If she doesn't pay the rent by the 7th, the rent will be late. And then however many days they do the late fee until they serve the eviction notice. So if they serve an eviction notice, I don't have to leave immediately because there's a whole like process and they have to like actually file and go to court and everything. And like, luckily I have experience in property management. So I know that like, I don't have to freak out and fucking panic. I have some time. Oh, whenever we were having that conversation where she was withdrawing financial support, she made it a point to say, I'm still going to pay for the internet because I use that too. And since it's my internet account and I'm the one that has access to it, I went on and I changed the password. So bet, bitch, you don't use the internet anymore. And her bank account details were hooked up to it, not her card. So even if she canceled her card, she couldn't stop the fucking payments for that going through. So I have internet paid for. And I have figured out how to get my phone bill paid for at least this month. We'll see what's going on for next month. But I'm having to scramble and figure out how to... Because, listen, my credit is fucked now. Whenever I moved in with her, we decided that we were going to let my credit card go that has $10,000 on it. The payment was $500 a month. We couldn't fucking afford it. So we're like... We'll get into this apartment. We'll let that go. My credit will get fucked. And it's okay because like we're in this position where we're together and I'm not going to have my credit run at another place and be denied because now my credit's a 524 because I had to use that credit card after my money ran out to feed myself and ran it all the way up, maxed it out, and then couldn't make the $500 a month payment, obviously. And so now I have fucked credit and no money. Gonna have an eviction on the record if this goes through. Like, way to just go back on everything you ever fucking said to me. I'm having to scramble to figure out how to get everything together and not become homeless. I have a friend in Alabama who has a room that I can stay in if I can figure out how the fuck to get out there. Because I don't have gas money. I don't want to lose all my stuff. Like, I have every single time I've moved, which has been like 16 or 17 times since I was 18 years old. So many times. I've moved so many fucking times. I have never lived... Since leaving my parents' house for college, I have never lived in one place more than a year. Sometimes I have moved twice in a year, okay? I've moved so much. I have downsized my possessions to the bare necessities. I have a bed. I have a couch. Well, now I have 2 couches because she gave me that little green couch. I have a bed, 2 couches, a closet situation, a small amount of clothes that I have kept, and my car, and like some art, and a couple of dishes. Like, I have the bare necessities. And I'm likely going to have to figure out how to put it in storage again. At this point, I'm an expert mover. That could be a fucking job that I get, is helping people move. I'm good at it. I don't want to do it, but I could. I luckily got my hysterectomy and was able to heal from that before getting kicked out. So I don't have to worry about being on my period, not having access to things if I do end up having to live on the street. At least I don't have that. At least I can't get raped and get pregnant. I'm resourceful as fuck. I'm gonna be okay no matter what. But I am sick and fucking tired of having to go through shit like this. I am ready for my blessings. I am ready for my fucking 10 of cups. All right? I'm fucking ready to have peace of mind and safety and shelter and independence and to thrive. I am rehoming Odin because I cannot afford to take care of him the way that he needs. And it breaks my fucking heart. It's what's best for both of us. I don't want to get another pet again. As much as I love him, I can't be responsible for the life of another being. Like, I need to be able to just like pick up and go and do whatever the fuck I want and leave for days at a time and not have to worry about making arrangements or if dogs are allowed or like what's going on. Like, I need to just not have any more animals. I'm not gonna have another pet. I can't bear having all of the responsibility on me. And when I got Odin, it was not supposed to be all on me. It was supposed to be mine and Alec's dog. And I ended up being the one to take care of him the whole time because Alec is a fucking asshole who used weaponized incompetence against me and never took any responsibility for fucking anything. Why am I always the adult? Why am I always the one that has to come up with all the fucking solutions? I cannot wait to be done with this situation. I cannot wait to finally bear the fruits of my labor. Harvest the fruits of my labor, rather. I cannot wait to be independent. I cannot wait to never see or hear from that bitch again. Listen now and listen well, universe. I am severing the soul tie that I have to that bitch. I do not want to encounter her in any other life. No more. This is the last life that I deal with her. Fuck her. Fuck you. Recording this conversation because Aaron would like to take away all of my shit.
Wow. Detonating me. Cool.
Sunflower wants me to remove her cards from all of my stuff that I use while in these couple of months where I'm trying to figure out something to leave by the end of our lease. She has nothing left to give me, so she wants me to take off the card from my phone, which is a necessity to be able to figure out, to communicate with anybody, to do that. I don't know how she's expecting me to pay for it, but she wants to keep the internet because she also uses that. Okay. Now that we're caught up.
So, this is a conversation between Phoenix and Sunflower about the terms on which Phoenix will be leaving the apartment. And Phoenix began this conversation by asking, what if October 31st comes and I have nowhere to stay? And I need to put pants on because this isn't working. So, as I was saying, we're having a conversation. Phoenix begins the conversation by asking if October 31st comes, which is the end of our lease, and I have not found a solution, are you going to put me out on the street? And I replied, I no longer have responsibility for you. I no longer take responsibility for you. I have nothing left to give you. Then we established that I will be paying for the internet because I use that. And Phoenix asked that
my stuff still be paid for until that deadline.
Me.
Just making sure your recording is truthful and accurate to the situation. I don't know why you have to show me the recording. I said making sure it's accurate.
Interrupting me.
You literally weren't speaking. And now you can speak. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. You weren't saying a thing. Okay, finish your fucking thought. I don't know why you're laughing.
Because you just laughed at me. So, where were we again?
You want to have me remove my card or your card from the things that you're paying for me, which include my phone, which as I established.
I have it now. I have it now. So, we've established that I have nothing left to give Phoenix. And that means I am paying for the internet and nothing else. Because I have nothing left to give them. It is your responsibility to figure out solutions. I can think of many solutions off the top of my head right now for all of your fucking situations. And
why don't you go ahead and list those?
No.
You said you can think them off the top of your head. So off the dome, list those for me, please.
I have nothing left to give you.
Oh, not even the information that's on the top of your dome. Is that what you're saying? Not even the information to help me. You want to cripple my ability to do something by taking away a resource, a utility. I'm only asking for it during the period of time that you're giving me to find another solution. That is it. Where are you going?
Take a drink of water. I have one solution for you. All right? I'm feeling generous. I have a solution for you.
Okay, say it then.
Use the internet on Wi-Fi to get your resources off of your online presence. Okay? The only thing that could be an issue and also could be solved is that you would need a phone number to get jobs, communicate with people who are working with you on budgeting, spreadsheets, whatever. And that can be solved with Google Voice. I gave you 2. Okay?
So I can only do things here then at the house. I can't have I have to go to places that have Wi-Fi then. Mm-hmm. You're being unreasonable.
I think that's very reasonable.
It's not reasonable. I don't understand why you're still going to be paying the rent. Oh, because we both live in the apartment. I get it. Because we both fucking live here. That's why you're still paying the fucking rent. Oh, is that the condescension? Are we done with this?
So, I feel like that kind of clarifies the terms.
No, it doesn't. There are still things that I need to know.
Then
if you have me blocked on everything and refuse to fucking communicate with me, I need to have this conversation. That way we don't have to talk to each other ever the fuck again. Okay? Jesus titty fucking Christ.
You have no
I have
opportunity to talk to me after this. And I am not going to put up with your condescension anymore. So make it good. What do you want to know?
I want
us to come to an agreement wherein you are not stripping me of the necessary resources I need, which I can only access in the home or where there's Wi-Fi. So no, because gas money too. How the fuck am I supposed to go anywhere if I don't have gas money in my fucking car? I don't have people who can just give me gas money. My online presence has proven to not be lucrative at all. I have posted relentlessly. I am on TaskRabbit. I had a gig this. I'm speaking, actually. So could you let me?
No, I'm done listening to this because it's the same thing we've talked about. And now you're talking about gas.
Yes, I'm talking about gas because that's another resource.
A bike for you. Use it.
Jay has a bike that is not fucking in working order. I cannot just take their fucking bikes. And also, I don't know if you fucking realized or not, but the last time I went on a bike ride, I almost went back to the fucking hospital because I'm just on the fucking edge of being healed. Holy shit, man. Like, why can't you see this? I'm asking for, like, the smallest fucking thing. I'm asking for this legitimate, necessary communication, and you are just so concerned with the fact that I can't, like, be whatever calm you need to be, that you just can't fucking hear me speak at all, and you're gonna
only talk about what you want me to tell you. Stop giving me narrative.
Why can't you just let me have the shit that you're already paying for in the terms that October 31st. If you want me out by October 31st, I have to be able to come up with a plan to do that. You just need to fucking keep paying for my goddamn phone at least. I actually have appointments to rehome Odin, okay? So you're not gonna have to pay for his bullshit. Pay for my fucking phone and give me gas money so that I can do shit. Why? Because I said fucking? Because I said fucking?
Yeah.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I said make it good. That's the best shot. I'm good.
I don't understand why you are being like this. Our misunderstanding happened, and then all of a sudden you're treating me like some humongous fucking asshole.
Yeah, because you have been for quite a while now, and I have never been treated so poorly in a relationship, and I have defended your shitty behavior to my friends.
What shitty behavior?
I'm not talking about it. I have defended you. I was in love with you. I fucking only want the best for you, always. I want you to figure out your life in a way that makes you happy. But the way you have treated me is putting me in a headspace where I am going to have a mental breakdown, and I cannot afford that. So either you're going to be homeless or we're both going to be homeless.
Oh, so it is you or me. Okay.
You've always chosen yourself first.
I have fucking not! I think about everybody the fuck else before me.
I need to go.
I fucking hate you so fucking much.
So now there's Violet.
Oh my god, I pulled some lights off the wall. You are kicking me the fuck out. You won't fucking listen to me.
Man, all I ask you to do is be kind and listen.
Oh, and did you throw the weed away, by the way? You put the empty fucking bag of nothing in there? You emptied the weed out and then fucking...
No, I'm making a tincture with the stuff I got from the fucking...
Why would you put an empty bag back in there?
Because I do that with everything all the time. Lock the door, please.
Oh, go fuck yourself.